So today we are going to discuss Python libraries. So initially we are going to discuss very important three libraries. One is NumPy, as you can see, and another one is Pandas and Matplotlib. There are many other libraries also. In due course, we will see that scikit-learn and Seaborn and all these different libraries also will see during the project. But right now, these three very, very important libraries will discuss. So we'll start with the NumPy library. Okay. So those who are going to write your code in PyCharm, in that case, it is required to install the libraries first, and for that the command is pip install numpy. Okay, so to install the numpy, the command is pip install numpy or conda install numpy. So these are basically the command, but right now the conda navigator that you have already downloaded, in that case all these libraries are within. You need not to install any one of them. Similarly, in Google Colab also, you need not to install anything. All these things are there. Okay, but if any new libraries, if you have to install, that is not there, then the installation line, code line is very simple. That is pip install that particular library name. Okay, pip install that particular library name. So in this way, we can actually install if some library is not installed in that particular interface or in that particular IDE. Anyway, in our case, we need not to install anything. All these things are already there in Google Colab. So what we have to do is that to use this NumPy, we can first shorten the name of the NumPy. Otherwise, every time we have to write this whole word NumPy. So what we are writing, that import NumPy as NP. So this is basically a shortcut name given to NumPy. Instead of NP, you can write any other shortcut name also. But this is a very convention that people generally use NP to represent NumPy. So the command is import NumPy as NP. Now, wherever in the command in the coding you are getting that NP is written, basically this NP is nothing but actually this NumPy. Okay. So this is the first line that you have to write, that import NumPy as NP, and after that, instead of NumPy, you can directly use this NP. So till now, we have seen the different single dimension list and all that, but we have not yet worked with arrays. Okay, arrays is a very important thing because you know that matrix input is required for many calculations, and that is why this NumPy actually provide that to read some array or to create some array. It can be either single dimension array or it can be multi-dimensional array. So basically within this particular NumPy library, it is basically numeric and scientific computing is done. Okay, all kinds of numeric and scientific computing is done in NumPy. So let us first see how we can create this NumPy array. Suppose we want to create one NumPy array. We have given the name np1, as you can see, and that np1 is the name of the NumPy array, and that is equal to np.array. Okay, np.array, and then within parentheses you pass a list. Okay, so we have passed this list, that 10, 20, 45, 60. Then this np1 array will be created, and that is definitely a single dimensional array. Okay, single dimension means it is only one row. Okay, now np2 is another array, NumPy array, that is created here. You see, this is a multi-dimensional array. Okay, so np.array, and within parentheses you pass the two list. একটু ওয়েট করো। এই অঞ্চলের ছাত্র কর্মসংস্থানের জন্য আমাদের চাই সুজন চক্রবর্তীর মতো বিধায়ক, তাই আগামী 10 তারিখ 3 নম্বর বেতন দিতে সুজন চক্রবর্তীকে বিপুল করে জয়যুক্ত করুন। চক্রবর্তীকে সিপিআরের প্রার্থী ডক্টর সুজন চক্রবর্তীকে Okay, so NP2 is a multi-dimensional array that is created in this way. Two lists actually been passed. Here you can see, and you see that within this particular list there are two items, and each of the item is one list. So see carefully that how many box bracket, how many parentheses are there. So array np dot array, definitely there will be parentheses, and after that within a list there are two elements. Within a list there are two elements, and each of the element is a list. Each of the element is a list. One of the list is 23, 34, 76, 80. Another list is 12, 32, 54, 90. So look carefully how we are creating multi-dimensional array. Okay, now if you want to see that how this array look like, that you can check. You just simply write np1, you will see how np1 looks like, and if you write np2, you will see how np2 looks like. Let us see how np2 looks like. Here you can see that within NP2 there is this array where these two lists are there. Basically, two rows are there, and you can see there are four columns. So in this way, you can create the arrays. Okay. Next, suppose you want to initialize a NumPy array with zeros. That means you want a NumPy array. Suppose let us consider 3 by 4. And you want to assign all the values of that array as 0. Okay, so 3 by 4 means what? 3 comma 4 means there will be 3 rows and there will be 4 columns. The first one is the rows, second one is the column. So you see that np3 is a new NumPy array has been created, and that is equal to np dot zeros, and then within parentheses this size of the array has been described, that is 3 comma 4. So all the elements of this array will be 0. Okay, so if you simply run this, you see we want to see what is np3. So if you write np3, you see that all the elements are 0, and it is a 3 by 4 matrix. Okay, similarly, suppose you want to initialize all the elements by some other number. Let us consider we want to assign all the numbers, instead of 0 it will be 10. Then exactly in a similar way, only instead of zeros, the command is np.full, and within parentheses you have to write the size of the array, then comma which number will be there in that or in all the elements that you have to write. So if you want to see that what is np4, you see that all the elements are now 10, and it's a 3 by 4 size. I think this part is clear, that how we can create np arrays. Okay, either single dimension or multi-dimension. Now next thing we'll see that how to initialize array within a range. That means here you see we want to create a NumPy array np5 where we want to create a single dimension array where the values will be from 10 to 20. The values will be from 10 to 20 with a gap of 2. That means the values will be 10, 12, 14, 16 in that way. Okay. To do that, this is the command, that np.arrange. Okay. np.arrange, and within bracket you write that from which number to which number you want to create that array, and what will be the difference between any two consecutive number. So this will be a single dimension array. In that way you can create within a particular range. Here you can see you can create this one, and you see carefully that 20 is not included in that array. So these are the things that you have to observe. So that means it should be less than 20, that you have to remember. It will include 10, but it will not include 20. Okay, these are the things that you have to observe carefully. Now suppose you want to initialize with random numbers. Suppose you want to initialize. Yes,
স্যার ওই আগে যে ম্যাট্রিক্সটা আমরা বানাচ্ছি, যেটা
show her though louder please.
আমরা যে এনপি ডট জিরোস যেটা ম্যাট্রিক্স গুলো বানাচ্ছি না,
Show her though, your voice is cracking actually. I can't get you.
হ্যালো স্যার, হ্যালো।
হ্যাঁ, ইয়ে সৌহার্দ্য।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ওই এনপি ডট জিরো দিয়ে যে ম্যাট্রিক্স গুলো বানাচ্ছি,
হুম।
তো স্যার ওই অ্যারেটা যখন ফর্ম হচ্ছে তো জিরো মানে পার রো কলামের এলিমেন্টস গুলোর পরে কমাটাকে রিমুভ করা যাবে না? লাইক জিরো কমা এরকম কমাগুলোও কেন ইনক্লুডেড হয়ে থাকছে ওর মধ্যে?
Uh,
আপনি একটু
so
ওপরে
in
স্ক্রল,
zeros,
10 কমা 0 কমা ওগুলো রয়েছে।
yes, actually it is showing in the form of a list, na? That's why it is showing in that way. It is showing in the form of a list. That is why this comma is coming. But when you are going to do some mathematical operations or something, in that case, all these things will be taken care of. Your problem is with the visualization, right?
ইয়েস স্যার, মানে ওই ম্যাট্রিক্স ফর্মে তো
Nah, understood. But basically, what happens here, it is showing in the form of list, and you know that in list the two numbers are separated by a comma, na? That's why
হ্যাঁ।
it's showing in that way. So this is the actually array, but still you can get some idea about the how many rows and columns are there in this arrangement. But when you will start doing any calculation with these arrays, matrix multiplication or something else, that you will be able to do without any problem.
ফাইন স্যার।
Okay.
ওকে।
Actually, for visualization, there are other tools, and we can use those tools to make it like without any comma and all that. Okay. Now, you see that initialize array within a range that we have covered. Now we'll see initialize with random numbers. Suppose we want to initialize 5 random numbers between 10 and 20. We want to initialize 5 random number between 10 and 20, and all these will be integer. In that case, the command is np.random.randint. Okay, randint. And 10 to 20 is the range within which it will take the random numbers, and this last number 5 indicates that how many random numbers you want to put in that particular array. So if you just execute this one, you see it will take 5 random numbers between 10 and 20. Okay, so this is what is the command that you have to remember. Now coming to the shape of array. Okay, shape means how many rows and how many columns. This is what is the shape. Okay, suppose you have created a multidimensional array np7, and that is defined as np.array, and you have passed 3 lists within this particular list, that is 4, 5, 8, 9, and 12, 13. So now if you want to just check that what is the shape of this particular array np7, what is the shape, then the command is np7, that means the name of the array dot shape. That will give you how many rows and how many columns are there. It is clear that how many rows and how many columns are there. In this case, you can see there are 3 rows and there are 3 columns. Sorry, there are 4, 5, 8, 9, and 12, 13. That means if you write np7, you see how it is going to print. So it is going to print in this way. You see that 4, 5, then 8, 9, then 12, 13. So how many rows and how many columns? You can see there will be 3 rows and 2 columns. So that is why np7.shape will give you 3, 2. Okay. Now, if you want to change the shape, suppose you want to change the shape of this particular data set or this particular array, and you want to make it 2 rows and 3 column. Suppose you want to make it 2 rows and 3 column. Then what you will do, you will write that np7, that is the name of the array, dot shape is equal to 2, 3 within parenthesis. So that will change the shape of the array. Okay, and if you want to print that particular, now if you print that np7, you see it will change the shape to 2 by 3. So how it is taking the values, you see that 4, 5, then 8, 9, 12, 13. In this way it is taking 4, 5, 8, then 9, 12, 13. So continuously starting from 4 to 13, it will take depending upon what shape is given. Okay. So in this way, we can change the shape of an array. Now, suppose you want to join two NumPy arrays. So joining of two NumPy arrays can be done in different way. Either you can vertically stack, or you can horizontally stack, or you can do the column stack. So let us see how these are done. So let us consider NP1 is an array that is defined by this. It's a single dimension array. NP2 is another single dimension array. And now if you want to stack them vertically, so if you use the vstack, then the command is np.vstack, and within parentheses you write np1 comma np2, again that will be within parentheses. Okay, if you do that, and if you do that, you see that what is the output of the vertical stack. So you will understand that vertically they are stacked. So this is np1 and this is np2. So vertically they actually stack. Now if you want to make the horizontal stack, then the command is .hstack, and you see the output. So horizontally they will stack. That means one after another. Now the column stack is basically, it will consider each of the list will considered as one of the column. Okay, that means if you just execute, you will understand that 34, 23, 78, 45, this was one list of np1. So that will come in a column, and this will come in another column. So this is what is the column stack. Okay, so these are certain important command that you have to remember, by which you will be able to manipulate the arrays, or you can change the shape of the arrays, or you can join two arrays. Now intersection and difference. Now intersection, you know, that is which is common between the two lists. Here suppose n1 is one of the array that is created in this way, n2 is another array, and what we want to find out, we want to create an array that will take only the common values of these two array n1 and n2. So for that, what we do, np dot intersect 1d, intersect 1d. So one dimensional intersect, if you do, you will get, if you execute this, and if you see that what will be the array, it is showing 30, 50 and 70. Okay, and if you want to find out what is the difference, then the command is np dot set diff 1d. Okay, n1 comma n2, these are the two arrays. So if you do that, you see that that is the difference. Difference means what? That is the elements which are there in array 1, that means this one, but that is not there in array 2. Okay, that is what is the meaning of difference. Okay, so you have to consider only those are not there in np2, but only there in np1, that means in n1. Okay, so you can see 10, 20, 46. So this is what is the difference. Now addition of NumPy arrays, this is very, very important, that if you create one NumPy array, as you can see 3, 5, and you have created another NumPy array, say 13, 17, and if you want to sum all the elements, okay, of np1 comma np2, if you want to sum all the elements of np1 comma np2, then what you will write, that np dot sum, and then you pass the list that np1 comma np2. So that will do what? All the elements will be summed up. And suppose you want to find out only the column sum. Okay, so in that case, what you have to do, you have to write that np dot sum, then you pass this to array np1 and np2, and you write axis is equal to 0. Okay, axis is equal to 0 will give you, you see that first, what is, sorry, we have not. So axis, first of all, this is the total sum, and if you do the column sum, you see it will take only the column wise sum. That means 13 plus 3 is 16, and 5 plus 17 is 22. Okay, so axis is equal to 0, that means it will make the column sum, and axis is equal to 1, that will do the row sum. That is very, very important. You see, the row sum is coming when you mention that along which axis you want to make the sum. So 1 is for the row, 0 is for the column. Okay, and if you do not mention anything, it will sum all the elements. Okay. Now, basic NumPy array math operations and functions. Suppose n1 is one NumPy array, and if you want to multiply each of the element by 2, if you want to multiply each of the element by 2, it is kind of matrix multiplication with a scalar. So if you want to multiply by 2, then simply write n2 is equal to n1 into 2. If you want to find out the mean, np dot mean n1, that will give you the mean of this array. And if you want to find out what is the standard deviation, the command is simply np dot std is equal to of n1. So if you just do that, you see that n2 is actually each term is twice of the initial array. Mean, you will get the mean of this, and the standard deviation you will get. So these are very, very helpful during the data exploration. Now, NumPy array save and load. Suppose you want to save a particular NumPy array. You have created in Python some NumPy array and you want to save it. Then what is the command? The command is np.save. Suppose you have created n1, this NumPy array, and to save it, the command is np.save. Then within parentheses, first you give the name of that particular file where you want to save that array. So here I have given the name my underscore numpy underscore array. Okay, so this is the name of the file, comma, that which numpy array you want to make this file. Okay, remember this is npy file, .npy file. This is not a text file or a CSV file. So this is basically binary file. So you will not be able to open this particular file. Only in Python you will be able to open it. So my underscore numpy underscore array, comma n1. This is the way you can save a particular numpy array n1. Now suppose you want to use that particular numpy array. Suppose some numpy array is there already. That is my underscore numpy underscore array, and you want to use that in your Python environment. Then you have to read that, or you have to load that. So for that, what you have to do? You have to suppose save that particular numpy array into n2, and that n2 you can write np.load. This is the command np.load, and give the file name. Okay, with proper extension. So here it is .npy extension. Okay, so in this way you will be able to load that. So here you see that if we do it, and finally we want to see what is there within n2, you will find that same n1 you can load, because n1 is initially saved, and after that you load this n1 and given in another array called n2, and now if you print n2, you see that it is actually working. That means in this way you can load a NumPy array. These are some of the very basic operations of NumPy that we have seen. Now we will see pandas. Pandas is basically used for data manipulation and data analysis. Okay, so this is very, very important for the data exploration job. And two kind of data structures actually used in pandas. One is called series, another one is called data frame. Okay, so the first thing is that to use pandas, first of all, if it is not there within that particular framework or within that particular ID, you have to install by the command pip install pandas. And if it is already there installed, then what you can do, you can give a short name to pandas as pd, like import pandas as pd, exactly what we have done in case of NumPy. Okay, so after that, instead of pandas, we can write only pd. So let us consider we want to create a one-dimensional labeled array. Okay, so pandas create labeled arrays. So arrays, in case of NumPy, we have seen to create an array, we used NumPy np.array, but in pandas, it will create a labeled array. Labeled array means each of the element will be, there will be some index. Okay, so now see that suppose we want to create this series. Series is one of the data structure used in pandas for single dimension. Basically, you see, let us consider this list 3590 is passed within pd.series. Then within S1, if you just type S1, you see it is basically a series. Okay, this is what is the type of S1. This is actually series type. And if you want to see what is S1, you see this S1 is this one. That means this 3590, these are the values, and corresponding to each value in the left hand side, you see there are index. Okay, so 3 is at the location 0, 5 is at the location 1, like this. So that is why it is labeled array, because each of the values are labeled. Okay, so this is the difference between the array and the series. And in pandas we can create series. Series is used for single dimensional data structure. Now suppose you want to change the index. Okay, that means instead of 0 1 2 3, if you want to make it ABCD like that, then what you can do, that you write S1 is equal to pd.series, then you write that particular series. Okay, and then you write comma and index equal to, pass this list where that list contains the indexes that you want to change. Suppose A, B, C, D that you want to change. So now if you want to see that what this S1 will now contain, is that these are the values and these are the labeling of each of the values. These are the new index that you have created. Okay. Now passing a dictionary, you can also create, you can pass a dictionary instead of a list, like what we have seen here, like pd.series, and suppose you passed a dictionary here. Suppose A, this is the key value pair, you can see A:8, B:90, like that. And now after that, creating that series, if you want to print that series, you see this A, B, C, D, these keys are going to be the new index and these are the values. Okay, so in this way, you can either pass list or you can pass the dictionary also. Now extracting individual elements. Okay, so suppose you want to extract a particular element from that series, then what you do, suppose you create that particular series S3 like this, and after that if you want to take the index, what is there in index 2, then you simply write S3 within box bracket 2. And if you do that, you see that at the location 2, what is there? 0, 1, 2, that means 6. Okay, so it will extract the value corresponding to the index 2. Similarly, if you write that S3 :2, :2 means it will take the values from initial to the index just before 2. Okay, so if you do that, you see that which are the values it is taking. You know that suppose 3:4, that means that 4 is not included, right? Similarly, :2 means 2 index is not included, so it will take up to index 1. And if nothing is there in the left hand side of the colon, that means it will take from the 0 index. Okay, so that is why you see the values are as at 0 it is 4, at 1 it is 5. Okay, now if you write S3 :2, so in that case it will take the values from 2 to the end of the series. Okay, so if you just do it, you see that it will start from the index 2 and it will go up to the end of the series. Okay, and if you write S3 -2, that means it will take from the end of the series, the two values from the end. Okay, so here you can see the third and the fourth, those two values has been taken. Now basic math operations on series, if you want to suppose you created one series, say S3, and created another series, say S4, and if you create another series S5 such that S4 plus 10, then what will happen? Each element will be added by 10. Okay, and if you write S6 is equal to S3 plus S4, that means simply all the elements, individual elements of S3 and S4 will be added. That means 4 plus 1, 5 plus 2 in this way. So if you do that, and if you print what is S5, you see S5 is basically the 10 is added with S4. So 10 is added with S4. All the elements 10 is added. And if you want to print S6, you see that it will simply add S3 and S4. Okay. So in this way, you can simply do the mathematical operation, simple mathematical operation. Now, multi-dimensional data structure in pandas is called the data frame. This is very, very important. Okay. Multi-dimensional data structure is called the data frame because till now in pandas we have seen the series which is a single dimension. Now see 2D level data structure. If you want to see that DF1, suppose this is a data frame DF1. To create a data frame, instead of series we have to write dot data frame. So PD dot data frame, and within that we can pass a dictionary, as you can see, where the key value pairs are what? Suppose name is the key, and what is the value of that name? The value is this list. The whole list is the value corresponding to that name. Okay, and marks is the key, and the value of the marks is the whole list. Okay, so if we pass this kind of a dictionary within that and create this data frame, and if you want to see that how this data frame looks like, you see it will create this kind of a data frame. Already you know that these are labeled, so 0, 1, 2 are there, and now you see within the key name these are the list, these are the values corresponding to this key, and corresponding to marks these are the values. So in this way you can create the data frame. I think this is very, very important. You first do this particular part in your notebook. This particular part you do in your notebook. I'm sharing it in the chat box. You can copy it also from there. So only this part, okay? So you please check that whether it is printing in this way or not.
সেটা কোথায় কপি করতে বললে?
In the notebook file that you have just created, Python libraries. I told you now, one new notebook file you have to create. In the code line, you just copy and execute, and check whether it is coming or not. Give me some feedback whether it's working on.
Sir, it
Yes.
shows error.
Sir, error has.
No, so before that, you have to write import pandas as PD. Okay. So just
Okay.
before that, you write import pandas as PD. Okay. This line you just write. That is why it's not reading pandas actually. So you write this line, and then you will, when there will be no error. Import pandas as PD. And after
ওই
that,
লাইনের মধ্যে লিখবো নাকি আগে
no,
একটা
no,
লাইন
no. Just before that, at the starting you write import pandas as PD, and after that you copy and paste that line of code I have shared.
Sir, ঠিক আছে।
আচ্ছা i/2 কোথায় এখন?
You just write
Sir,
first
my
import
code is
pandas as PD, okay, and after that you just copy paste the code I have shared in the chat box. First write this
Yes,
one,
sir, it is
import pandas as PD, and then you do that.
Yes, sir, it's coming, sir.
Okay, then it's okay. Now the most important thing now we are going to do, that is how to read some data file. How to read some data file. That means suppose some Excel file is there, and we want to take that whole Excel file into this Python, and then we are going to do some data exploration on that Excel file or the CSV file. Okay, so first thing is that if it is an Excel file, in that case you have to convert it into a CSV file. This is the first thing. If you have the data in the form of Excel file, in that case, what you have to do, you have to convert that Excel file into a CSV file. How to convert Excel file to CSV file? You know, just go to File, Save As, and Save As .csv. Okay. So in this way, basically, the CSV file, you can convert any Excel file, you can convert into CSV file. Okay. So first thing is that suppose we want to import data on iris flower. This is the iris flower data set. You will find it online, and where basically the length and width of the sepal and petal, those are listed. Okay, different information about the length and width of the sepal and petal, these are there. So we want to import that particular data set into Python. Okay, so for that, what we have to do, you remember that there is one website from where we can get almost all the data available in the internet, and that is what is called Kaggle. So do with me. Okay, so in a separate window in Google search, you write Kaggle, 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 and then give enter. Then you will find the first result. So if it is asking for sign in, then go to sign in option. Okay. And in the sign in option, you can go through your mail ID, your Google mail ID. You just sign in. Go to Kaggle, sign in through your Google mail ID, and then you search iris dataset. Search iris dataset.
कॉलेज मेल आईडी ना हलो पर्सनल
Better through college mail ID.
স্যার সার্চ কি করতে বললেন?
First you sign in the Kaggle website and then
Hello.
search iris dataset, and then click on that particular dataset, iris dataset. You will go into this particular page. There is a file iris.csv. Okay, iris.csv. Here you click on download. See, there is a download option, so click on download. Let it be downloaded either desktop or any other folder. Select the folder accordingly and save it. If you have completed
Yes,
this
sir.
step, then tell me.
Yes, sir.
স্যার ডাউনলোডটা একবার দেখান স্যার।
You are not getting any download option there. In the page, you just scroll down and then you will get one option, download here. So click on that tab.
आइरिश टाइम आ रहा है वहाँ पे आइरिश डाटा
What?
सेट
What?
आइरिश डाटा सेट सर्च कर रहे हैं तो आइरिश टाइम आ रहा है
Hello, sir.
Within Kaggle you search. Within Kaggle you search iris dataset, not within Google.
नो सर इन
First
KLL
you,
only I search for that
first you sign in the Kaggle, then search iris
yes
dataset,
sir
and there you may
Yes,
find
sir.
many results. One of the result is iris species. Click on that.
ফোন থেকে করলে ওটা কি আপনার ওই স্পেস
Okay, so I hope everyone downloaded this file. Now what you have to do, listen carefully. after downloading the file, what you have to do, you just save this or import this particular, upload this particular file in your CSV, in your CSV folder that you have created within data science in your My Drive. So go to My Drive, open CSV, and then right click there and upload file. Click on upload file and select that particular file where you have downloaded and upload it within CSV, within data science. So after that, what you have to do, you see carefully. Then everyone write these 2 lines of code. Write these 2 lines of code.
স্যার আপনার স্ক্রিনটা একটু দেখান না।
I have shared in chat box. Just write these 2 lines of code.
স্ক্রিনটা খুলে রাখলে সে ভালো হয়।
Okay. And then execute. So then you will see this kind of a page will come. One link you will find as blue color. So click on that. Observe carefully what I am doing. So click on this blue colored link. Then it will ask for sign in. So with the same mail ID where you have saved in your drive, sign in and allow, and then you will get one particular code and click here. That means you just copy it, and after copying that you go to your page, and here in this space you paste that and then press enter. So now you do. So after that, what you have to do is that you have to load that particular file. If you are working from the Anaconda Navigator in Jupyter Notebook, you need not to go through these few steps. Directly you can load the CSV file by this command. Okay. But in Google Colab, first you have to connect this Google Colab with the My Drive, and then from the My Drive you have to select the path of that particular file. Okay. So that is why this extra step is required only in Google Colab. That is not required in Jupyter Notebook in Anaconda Navigator. So what you have to do then the command you just write. Already you have written that import pandas as PD, so you need not to repeat this line again. So you now create a data frame of that CSV. Now what we are doing, we are trying to load that particular CSV, and we are creating this particular thing, that is PD dot read underscore CSV. So right, iris, suppose name of the data frame that we are creating. So iris is equal to PD dot read underscore CSV. So write this one, iris is equal to PD dot read underscore CSV, and after that you give a parenthesis. Now within parenthesis, what you have to write is that give a quotation, single quote like this, and then within that you have to write the path. So where from you'll get the path? So observe carefully, click here, click here. Okay, files, click on files, and there you will find that one folder that is showing drive. Check this folder is there or not first. drive, that
Yes, sir.
should come.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
click on the left hand side arrow. Then within drive, what is there? My drive. So click on my drive. Then
স্যার
within my
বলছি
then within my drive, what are the different folders that is there in your machine that will show, oh, sorry, in your mail id that will show. You have to select the folder where you have saved that csv. We know that we have saved it in data science, so click here in the data science, and there within the csv folder we have that particular csv. So that csv is iris.csv. iris.csv. So what you have to do now, click on these three dots, and copy path. So in this way the path will be copied, and then within that single quote you just paste that, and after that you execute. Do these steps.
Okay, sir.
After loading this particular csv, what you have to do, suppose you want to print the first few lines.
Hello, sir.
So after that you just write iris is equal to pd dot read under. Now if you want to see the first few data, that means there may be a large amount of data is there, maybe 1000 line, 5000 lines are there. So what we'll do, first we'll just see what are the 5 rows. Okay, so to check the 5 rows from the top, the command is the name of the data frame that you have loaded dot head, iris dot head, and within parentheses if you write 7, then first 7 rows will come. If you write 10, then first 10 rows will come. If you do not write anything, then 5 rows will come, and then execute this command. So write iris dot head parentheses and execute this command, and you will see
হ্যাঁ স্যার এসছে
that first 5 data will come. Okay, if you want to see first 10 data, just put a 10 within the parentheses. If you want to see the data from the bottom, then iris dot tail, and you will see the last 5 data like this. And if you want to see that how many such data is there actually in the total data set, so for that you write iris dot shape. So if you write that, you see that there are total 150 rows. There are total 150 rows and 6 column. There are total 150 rows and 6 column. Okay, so next class we'll explore this data in detail.